Today was apparently a Dragon Empire field day as we got the new Blademaster VR for Kagero and the new Narukami Stride for the Premium Collection 2020. Let's talk about that! Stand up! Vanguard! Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and today we got a very exciting Cardfight update as we got two big major reveals for Dragon Empire as I explained in the intro, and these cards are no pushover. Holy crap, they are amazing and I am very excited to talk about them. But before we go into those cards, there's one extra news that they brought out in this livestream, as once we got the whole product livestream at the beginning of this year, they also hinted to new collabs with other franchises and other games that will incorporate within Vanguard. And one of those collabs, we finally see the results of that, as we're going to see a Bang Dream Cardfight Vanguard exclusive set that will happen in Japan very soon. And this is probably in the same vein as Token Rambu, that it's gonna be its unique clan and only will contain to those specific cards and will have its own little gimmick within these cards that might have something to do with the original show. But the big question is, will this come to the English format? I'm personally very optimistic about this, as for one major reason. Bang Dream is a Bushiroad official licensed product. So, unlike Token Rambu or any of the other animes they're doing with Weiss Schwarz, they have no legal battles or at least legal issues they need to overcome to allow them to be released in the West or worldwide, as they need to make sure that the company who owns those products or who owns those IPs will agree to them. For Bang Dream, that's no problem, as the IP is from Bushiroad. They own it. So there's a highly likely chance that this set will also come out to us in the international circuit. When that is, however, I have no clue. They didn't release any extra information, but there is a highly likely chance that it will get to see that. So for any Bang Dream fans out there, or players that really like this whole thing with Token Ranbu, then eat your heart out, as there's a likely chance that this will come your way very soon, or at least somewhere in 2020. But with that said, let's dive into the actual new reveals, as we got the new VR for Kagero as well as the new Stride for Narukami. And we begin with the VR for Kagero, as that's the one that I'm least hyper excited about, as Narukami is of course my boy that's just below Gear Chronicle. So we start off with the new VR, and it's the new Blademaster, as we have Dragonic Blademaster Soen, and its abilities are continuous Vanguard Circle. During your turn, if your opponent has no rear guards, this unit and all of your vision tokens get power plus 10k. So with that, we already know it's gonna create a vision token, which was to be expected of Blademaster. So this is actually pretty solid, as it turns itself into a 23k attacker, which is higher than the original Blademaster, which would become an 18k attacker with a crit. But it also increased our token into a 23k attacker, which is really nice, as that will synergize somewhat with Force 2, but with also Force 1 can make them really powerful. But then we get its main ability, and that's Act on Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, cast discard 2 cards from your hand, call a vision token to the rearguard circle, and at the end of the turn, retire the token. If Wyvern Strike Doa and Wyvern Strike Garen on your rearguard circle, retire all of your opponent's rear guards. This is outright a complete upgrade of the original Blademaster, as the original Blademaster would only get 5k in a crit if the field was empty. This one will get 10k and give the vision token also 10k. That's arguably better than just the additional crit. But its main increase, or its main upgrade, is in its main ability that creates the vision token. With the original Blademaster, we for one need the Soul Blaster grade 3, so that's a turn later. This is much faster. It can happen while your opponent is still at grade 2. And you don't need to have the grade 2 and the grade 1 to create the token. The only thing that you need to have the grade 1 and the grade 2 onto the field is if you also want to retire the opponent's field to get the 10k increase for your token and for your new Blademaster Soen. So this is just outright complete better than the original Blademaster. In some regards, this is exactly what the Blademaster deck needed. They needed a much faster way to attain their tokens, or at least to be powerful or threatening and not be completely reliant on Doha and Garen. You could basically go with just this Blademaster and then go for the Grade 3 Blademaster Searcher, that's fine. Or you can go for this Blademaster, the old Blademaster, but basically the old Blademaster becomes a dead card if you don't ride it or you already ridden into this thing. But what's great about this particular card in general is, for one, it's faster. It can happen on your first Grade 3. It's much more powerful than the original one, as it gives 20k onto the board. And another big thing about this is that it just discard 2 cards. It doesn't cost you extra soul, counterbalance whatsoever, so it's even cheaper. It's cheaper than the original one. That's insanely good, as it just allows you to ride this thing and sit on it for the entirety of the match, and you can keep doing your entire riddle whatever you want. And with the new Grade 1 and Grade 2 consistency cards that allows you to recycle Doha and Garen and even search them out, that brings this deck probably to the next level. So yeah, Blademaster fans are probably very, very happy about this card. Now I'm just curious if they're gonna get more Blademaster support or not. So we have to wait and see if this is just it, or we're going to see maybe 1 or 2 extra cards that will support it, as just like we had with the previous Kagura support. They also got a Grade 3 Searcher, but I don't know if they actually need something like that. Maybe a Grade 1 Searcher. We also got, of course, the upcoming Stride Fodder that will search out Grade 3, so that is also insanely good for the new Blademaster deck. So yeah, I think Blademaster is looking pretty damn solid. So now the question is, how is Dragonic Overlord the Cross gonna top this, as that is the cover art of this set, so it has to be better than this card. So this could be interesting. But with Blademaster covered, let's dive into the Narukami Stride, as holy crap, that thing is nuts. So every Narukami player knew from the beginning we needed a better Stride, and most primarily a better first Stride that sets up our deck, or what our deck wants to do, and to some extent have some way to utilize our V support, as at this stage of the game our Grade 3s were way better than our first Stride target. So there were a lot of the cases where we could Stride, but we actually much rather stay on our Grade 3s like Vanquisher or Gauntlet Buster Dragon, or in some cases even Tectonic Drill Dragon. So we need a Stride that fixes that. And a Stride we got, as we got this Stride, Conqueror Supreme Dragon, Stun First Dragon. And it got 1 skill, and it's 1 skill that it only needs, as its skills act on Vanguard Circle, cost Soul Blast 1, and turn a card from your G-Zone face up. Put this unit into your G-Zone face up, so you Stride out. Your opponent chooses 4 cards each from his or her rear guards and drop zone and binds them. For every 4 cards in your opponent's bind zone, you draw a card, and your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and binds it. Holy crap! That's potentially a Thunderstrike 10. You bind 4 rear guards, then you bind 4 cards from the drop zone, and because you have 8 in their bind zone, you draw 2 cards, and they bind 2 cards from their hand. That's insane! That's a lot of card advantage you're gaining, and you're destroying a lot of value from your opponent's side of the field for only 1 Soul Blast. That's no cost! That's nothing! And the craziest part is, you go back into your Grade 3. So we can go back into our V-Era boss monsters like Dragonic Vanquisher, Gauntlet Buster Dragon, or Tectonic Drill Dragon, and then utilize their skills, as they're probably a lot better than most of our Strides nowadays. That's perfect! This is actually perfect as a first Stride option, and even as a mid to late game finisher if you want to. As a first Stride option, if we went up against a, let's say, an Axel deck or a clan that swarms the field, we're gonna get a lot of binds off. And I'm gonna be realistic here. It is very unlikely that on first Stride you're gonna get 4 binds from the drop zone and 4 binds off the field. But you will get at least 4 in total. That's not impossible. That's very likely. So you're gonna get bind 4 on the field, rip 1 card from their hand, and you draw a card. That's actually pretty solid for a Soul Blast, and then you go into your Grade 3, that can be Dragonic Vanquisher, that then comes in with the multi-attacks, the extra binding, and all the other shenanigans. So that's a pretty good first turn, but with Dragonic Vanquisher in mind, if you go in this thing late game, you can rip your opponent's hand completely to shreds. As in late game, it's very likely you're gonna bind 4 from the drop zone, bind 4 from the field, meaning you're gonna rip out 2 extra cards from their hand. But because you already binded some cards mid-turn and all the other previous turns, there is a chance that you rip out 4 cards from their hand. So you destroy their field, you rip out another 4 cards from their hand, you draw 4 cards, and then you go back to Dragonic Vanquisher, and then you can utilize Dragonic Vanquisher's skill and rip out another card from their hand, so they go -5, and that is before you actually attacked for one single time that turn. Then you start multi-attacking, and don't forget you have the passive 10k. And this card also interacts really well with the passive 10k of Dragonic Vanquisher, so it sets up everything that you want to do for no cost. That's perfect. But other things that this card allows you to do, and this is really nice, it allows you to use Gauntletbuster Dragon in premium without paying the discard. Because now what you can do is you can go into this thing, you Soul Blast 1, destroy their field, and then go back to your Grade 3, which is Gauntletbuster Dragon. And now, because their entire front row is probably empty, you get the extra crits, the extra power, and you didn't need to have to pay the Counterblast and the discard. And actually, you probably have drawn while you do that. So, you now have a Gauntletbuster Dragon that potentially pluses you. That's actually pretty good, because your opponent cannot take the Vanguard attack, as they probably will die after the attack. So, you're damage denying them, you're ripping their hand to shreds, you're destroying their field, and you can do that turn after turn after turn. That's much better than the original Gauntletbuster Dragon in Standard, because you were destroying your own hand as you could keep sacrificing cards from hand. That is now solved with this card. But we can take it a step further with this card. Because we destroy your opponent's field, always, we can go back to a Tectonic's Drill Dragon and get the free restand every single time. So we actually get more pluses while doing so. So you can already see that this card inherently is what Narukami needed. They needed a super strong early game stride they can go into no matter the situation and fixes their plays. This thing, if things are right, can give you 10 Thunder Strike on the first try. But probably somewhere around 3 to 5 is more plausible. But still, that's amazing for a Soul Blast. And then you go back to your main Grade 3, which is awesome, as just like all the other good strides of this premium collection, allows it to become better the more and more support we're going to get. With every new Grade 3 or whatever main boss unit we're going to get in the V-Series, this card will interact with that, which is nuts! And as a Narukami main, as I literally here have the Narukami cards from the V-Series, as a Narukami main, I am very, very happy with this support. This stride is what they needed to actually make a dent in premium. And depending on how the meta landscape changes, this could be insane. But what's more funny enough, as I'm happy as an Narukami main, I'm way more happy as a Gear Chronicle main. Because if this card is good enough to make Narukami viable, that makes Gear Chronicle in premium all the better. Because now, as a Gear Chronicle, if I play Mystery Flare with the new stride, I will happily give first stride to my opponent, bind my drop zone, bind cards from my hand, bind cards from my field. I don't care. I just want 19 grades in bind zone, and you're basically giving me that. Yeah, so this is actually the perfect stride. I could not ask for more, and I'm honestly very excited for the future potential for Narukami, as this opens up so much potential, as it can synergize with Gauntletbuster Dragon, it synergizes with Dragonic Vanquisher and its entire support line, and it synergizes with the Tectonic's Drill Dragon, and probably will synergize with the upcoming support that we're going to get for Narukami somewhere down the line in this Wave 3 support. So yeah, this is looking insane, and probably with this reveal, I am 100% convinced that every clan that got a terrible stride in the previous Premium Collection 2019 is gonna get an insane card like this. We have seen it for Gear Chronicle, we have seen it for Narukami, we have seen it for DP, we have seen it for Royal Paladin, and probably clans that got an insane stride previous set are gonna get somewhat of a less equal good stride. We have seen it with Nova Grappler and Great Nature. Great Nature got a pretty good stride last time, so now they got a bit worse. So expect that there's a high likely chance that Neo Nectar Shadow Paladin are gonna get bad strides. There is a chance that their strides are gonna do absolutely zero because they already got some insane strides in the previous set. Same as for Dark Regulars, as Castile Dominas is an insane card that's somewhat on par with the support that we're going to get for clans right now. So yeah. But that's basically all the reveals that we got in this live stream. There were exciting reveals, as we got the new VR for Blademaster, as well as this insane stride for Narukami. So I cannot wait for the other reveals we're going to get for Premium Collection 2020, as well as Silver Petal Dragonflame, as with the first VR for Kagero revealed, what's to say how strong Dragonic Overlord the Cross is gonna be? But that's basically everything for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these new cards for Kagero as well as Narukami, and the prospect of the new Bank Dream extra booster set or booster set that we're probably gonna get for the English side. But it's not 100% confirmed, but I am very optimistic that it will be the case. So let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/Vanguard Insider. You guys are amazing. If you still want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, then head over to patreon.com/Vanguard Insider and become a patron today. Well, with that said, I'm Mr. Timeleap, and I see you guys in the next one!